4 interceptions are, just part of his problem. We're going to see in a moment the other part of his problem. Is what the quarterbacks get paid so much for. Gregory hitting him pretty good.
And Gregory, of course, led the...
Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. And welcome to the Gridiron. And before we get started, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone out there who's been watching my videos. Thank you. If you can maybe give this video a thumbs up or possibly leave a comment below, maybe even share this video, it would mean so much to me. But at least anyway, just thank you so much for just taking time out of your day to check out this video. Thank you. Well, the Daniel Jones saga continues. And Joe Schoen's starting to make some financial moves as he has to, because free agency is rolling around. Is it the 16th, I believe it starts? I mean, a little over 2 weeks. So Shane's got to start doing stuff. We got the coaching staff, and then obviously they're reviewing the tape, looking at all the guys and everything, and so things are going to start happening. Guys are going to start getting let go. Daniel Jones's fifth-year option did not get picked up. I was not surprised about this at all. Because, I mean, if it just doesn't work out, do you want to have yourself on the hook for a fifth year? No. So, I mean, it's kind of, usually, if a quarterback makes it to his fourth year and he plans on being the starter, usually, things are looking pretty good as far as maybe possibly getting his fifth year picked up. Usually, if you ain't it, you ain't making it to year 4. Maybe after year 2, if you're lucky, you would get a third year. But usually you're not making it to year 4. So usually if you got year 4 and you plan on pretty much looking like you're going to be the starter, and they're starting to maybe build a team around you and all this stuff and everything, getting that fifth year option picked up would be huge, but not this time. So this year he'll be making like $8.365 million. That's his last year of his rookie contract. So that's all pretty much guaranteed. So that's what he will be making this year. So if he wants a new contract with the Giants or with anybody, if he goes all out, right? He's a free agent after this year. If he goes all out and does phenomenal, I can't say he would want to take a hometown discount or something like that. But he probably would want to stay with the Giants. But it doesn't mean that. If a quarterback if he does really good and some team out there just wants to shell out some money, big time bucks for him, because remember the salary cap's going to go up. It's going to go up. Supposedly, what I've been seeing is at least another $20 million. So so teams next year are definitely going to have some money to spend. So if he balls out this year, if the Giants don't ante up enough, he can go someplace else. But so his fifth year option won't be picked up. So which I was reading would be worth, what I saw was around $21 million. So you could see the predicament. They got to pick it up, obviously, before the season starts. So then then they're on the hook for him for next year for $21 million. So so it's like if after his first 3 years, you can see where you got yourself a dilemma. He does some things good, and he does some things bad. So do you want to gamble and have yourself on the hook for $21 million if he doesn't do good this year? Nah. So if he wants a contract, he's going to have to go out there and put the chips in the middle of the table, and he's going to have to prove it. Now, the Giants are obviously going to be trying as much as they can to get him some help. Now, hopefully, they'll build up the O-line a little bit, maybe through free agency or maybe through a draft. There's some guards and centers out there that are, reasonably priced. They could certainly pick up somebody who's adequate as far as a guard or a center, under $10 million. So which would certainly help him out. And as I said, let's not forget about Shane Lemieux. I don't know what Shane Joe Shane thinks about Shane Lemieux, but I mean he's coming back. I mean he could be a starting guard for us. He was last year, so we'll have to wait and see. They can also maybe draft maybe a wide receiver. I don't know if that would be top priority. Especially maybe a second or third round wide receiver. But they could draft a tight end because if they don't wind up re-signing Evan Ingram, they're going to need it. I mean. They don't re-sign Ingram. They might be letting Smith go, Caden Smith, and Kyle Rudolph go. So we're going to need a tight end. So they go out there, maybe draft themselves a tight end. Then they have obviously with Dable coming in, they're going to have a new system coming in. So hopefully that will help them as well. Now let's not forget his rookie season with Shermer calling the plays. Shermer's system, Shermer calling the plays. Daniel Jones, 24 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. The last 2 seasons. With the clapper, all right, 2020, 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. 2021, 10 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. So he's had 21 touchdowns and 17 interceptions in his past 2 seasons. He had 24 touchdown passes, and he didn't even play the whole season. Against he started 12 games. He played pretty much like 12, so he missed 4 games. He played like a cup of coffee against the Cowboys in the beginning of the season, but I mean, it was like a drive. So he played 12 games, and he threw 24. So he threw 2 touchdown passes a game, he averaged. So if he played a whole season, 16 games, he might have had 32 touchdown passes. So very, very impressive. So, so with the new system coming in, maybe things might take off for him. He did some very good things his rookie season. First game, remember, against Tampa Bay, man, I was sky high after that game. I'm like, man, we got ourselves a quarterback, baby. Yeah. I'm not so sure about that a few years later. But against Tampa Bay, we came back from behind, won 32-31. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns. Remember, 4th down, dropped back the pass. The offensive line opened up and he just took it into the end zone for the game-winning touchdown. He was the only rookie quarterback in NFL history to ever have 3 games of 300 or more passing yards, 4 or more touchdown passes, and 0 interceptions. There's been other quarterbacks that do 300 or more passing yards and 4 or more touchdowns 3 times in their rookie seasons, but I think Fran Tarkenton did that, but one of the games he had an interception. So Daniel Jones is the only one. 3 games, rookie season, and he only played 12 games. He didn't play the whole season. 300 or more passing yards, 4 touchdowns or more. The last game he did was against the Washington football team was the Redskins then. He had 5 touchdown passes. The last one was against Caden Smith in overtime. And he had 0 interceptions. So, the dude can do some, he's very athletic. He's a good runner. If you get him in the open, he's fast. As we've seen this year, he can catch the ball. I'm surprised he didn't get a concussion on that one ball that he caught during the season. But that one-handed catch, tipped it up, forwarded it in, took a hit. But, he's very athletic. He's the anti-Eli Manning for sure. He has a nice touch on that deep ball. He can pretty much make all the throws. He's a student of the game. Everything you hear of, he's the first one in, he's the last one out at practice and all of that. Learning his craft, studying the tape, the film, and all this stuff and everything. Student of the game. From time to time, remember like New Orleans this past season, he had like 400 yards passing. Every now and then, he maybe takes over a game, and you're like, yeah, here we go, baby. Here's our quarterback. But too often or not, there's those turnovers. Okay, I know some of them are his fault, some of them aren't his fault. Like when he drops back to pass and within like half a second, the tackle, misses a block or a guard or something. Maybe he's looking this way and somebody boom blindsides him. It's kind of tough to hold on to the football. I get that. You throw a ball at Evan Ingram, Evan Ingram puts his hands out, and ball right through his hands, tips up in the air. Just happens to be a defender right behind Evan Ingram. Interception. Now, whose fault is that? Is that Daniel Jones' fault or is that Evan Ingram's fault? It's Evan Ingram's fault, but it goes against Daniel Jones because it's an interception, so it makes him look bad. So, some of them are his fault. Some of those turnovers are not his fault. But it's hard to deny. He's had 29 interceptions in 37 games. And it's about 2.5. He's not even 2.5 seasons. I mean, if you look at a full season, right? Just say 16 games, right? That would be 40 games, 2.5 seasons. So not even 2.5 seasons, he's had 29 interceptions. I mean, you can't compare the guy to Aaron Rodgers. But I mean, just look at Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's throwing darts. What's he throw? Like 3 interceptions, 5 interceptions in a season. I mean, Aaron Rodgers plays like every game. He gets hurt, but he's still in there throwing the ball. He's 29 interceptions. I mean, he's fumbled the ball 36 times in 37 games. I mean, this past season, he did do a better job. He only played in 11 games, though, but he only had 7 interceptions and he only had 7 fumbles. Okay, so he's gotten better. All right, but still, I mean, you got to do a better job protecting the football. Now, this past season, his deep balls, I saw an article, his deep balls weren't quite as good as they were as in 2020. His deep balls of 20 or more yards in 2020, all right, he was 20 out of 43. It's 46.5% completion percentage. Very, very good. He had 6 touchdowns on his deep balls, no interceptions, and there were 2 drops. In 2021, he was 8 out of 24 for 33% on his deep throws. He had 4 touchdowns, okay, and he had 2 interceptions on his deep throws. And of course, one of those was Darius Slayton in the game against the Washington football team. So he had at least 1 drop, so that would have been quite helpful too. But I mean, so his stats they got worse this year. His winning record his record is 12-25, a .324 winning percentage. I mean, if you're a really good quarterback, and you can lift everybody up around you, if you got not very good talent around you, you can still lift them up and carry them on your back every now and then. Sometimes I've just not seen it. In 2020, there was 2 games. I think they weren't back to back, but there was like these 2 games were like within 3 games. There was, I think, maybe a game in the middle, but there was 2 games on the road. One was against the Rams. They lost 17-9. Right? They had the ball. The final couple minutes, he was driving down the field. They get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. They tie it up, maybe going to overtime. So they're driving down the field. I know the Rams got a good defense. I get it. But it was in 2020. There weren't a lot of fans, so it wasn't like there was home field advantage or anything. Right? So he's pressured in the pocket. He steps up and he starts moving, and he has a receiver standing by the sideline who is open. If he throws the ball toward the out of bounds, the receiver possibly makes the catch. He throws the ball inside because he's like scrambling a little bit, but he makes a bad throw. Throws it inside. The Rams defender, I forgot who it was, dives, makes a fantastic catch, but intercepts the ball. Game's over. Then there was a game against the Bears. We're down 17-13. We need a touchdown to win. We're driving the ball. We get inside the 10-yard line, I think. He drives them all the way down the field. We got 4, on 4th down, we just couldn't get it done. We didn't need a field, we needed a touchdown, but it was like with under a minute to go. We're driving down and just couldn't get it done. I mean, either one of those games, we pull either one of those games out, we possibly wind up winning the division. Just couldn't get it. I mean, just more often than not, you're just seeing things like that just, Now, as I said, some quarterbacks can just put the team on their back and just carry them. Too many times, he just doesn't seem to do that. I mean, every now and then you get a glimpse of, wow, this guy. I said, like a game against New Orleans, he had 400 yards passing. What a great game that was. Exciting. What a game. But it's just so few and far between. Now, I mean, if everything goes perfect, you know, if everything is a perfect pocket and he's staying in this and he gets time to throw, yeah, he can do really good. But this is the NFL. You know, things aren't always going to be perfect, right? More often than not, you know, sometimes he just doesn't, you know, he's not aware of what's going on. Sometimes sometimes he's either focused so much downfield or he's focused just like on one guy. You know, he just forgets about like what's going on around him. And this one play against the Pittsburgh Steelers is an excellent point.
Okay, so here we have this is the 18th play of this drive against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. It's very, very good. See right here, it's still 16-10. You know, 3:52 left to go in the third quarter. It's anybody's ball game, obviously. Now we got 1st and 10 down at the 11. Daniel Jones turns around, hands the ball up to Saquon. He goes up the middle. He gets down to about the 4-yard line here. All right, nice little run. Sets up 2nd down and 3. Now, you know, coming up here is going to be the 19th play of this drive. Even if obviously you want to get 7, but if you don't get 7, you got to get something. You have to get something. And this is just one of those things that time and time again, you know, Daniel Jones, yeah, I mean, sometimes, you know, he fumbles the ball in the pocket. He gets hit from the backside or, you know, whatever, and you know, just doesn't see the guys coming. So some of the stuff's not his fault. Sometimes when he throws interceptions, they go through Evan Ingram's hands, bounce off his hands, and into a defender's hands for an interception. That's maybe not Daniel Jones' fault either, but it's just one of these. This next play here, 19th play to drive, is just things you just seem to see too often, and you just, you know, if you're going to be a franchise quarterback, you know, you have to be aware. And yeah, this is not being aware. All right, so what do we got? We got half of Chicago over here. We got five guys over here. All right, so yeah, and that's the way Daniel Jones is going to run out, or he's going to roll out. He's going to roll out this way. All right, he's going to roll away from I guess from the pressure, and that's where the fun starts. So you kind of fakes the handoff, rolls out, right, and so now, you know, he's rolling away. Now it's 2nd down. You got Saquon open here. You know, he could flip it to him real fast. I don't know if he's going to wind up getting into the end zone, but you could do that real fast. I'm not sure if he's looking here. Yeah, obviously he's covered, right? You got obviously you got Pursuit, you got Watt, you got Dupree, right? So somehow Cameron Hayward's going to wind up in the end zone over here. So, but you know, he's running away from pressure, right? He's got a couple seconds where where he'll have a chance to make a decision before Bud Dupree catches up to him. All right, so now he's looking, right? You know, if Saquon's, being kind of covered, he's kind of covered. He's, they can make it, I don't know, it'd be tough to fit it in here. He's kind of covered, kind of tough to throw it in here. You have to make a decision. You throw it away, you fall down on the ground, take whatever, you just run your ass and see how many yards you can get. You're not going to get in the end zone. You're probably not going to outrun Bud Dupree, but you have to make a decision here. And it's not like he's looking here. He has to know he's here. He's like, maybe 2 yards away from him? Right? He has to know he's there. All right. So then what's he do? I mean, even if he ran, he wasn't going to get in. You got, 1, 2, 3, you got 4, 5, you got 6 guys. I think might be even somebody over here, so he wasn't going to get a touchdown. If he made a faster decision, maybe he could have hit Saquon, but, Saquon's kind of covered, so Saquon may not have got into the end zone. But this was 2nd down, too. You come back 3rd down, see what you can do on 3rd down. Even if you throw 2 incomplete passes, even if you take a sack here, All right, you're at the 14. You go for third down, right? Maybe you throw an incomplete pass. Whoop-de-doo. You got Graham Gano, Mr. Automatic in 2020. All right, come in, kick a field goal. Now it's 16-13. That, in the long run, the Giants lost by 10 points in this game. They lost 26-16. Their last touchdown, they went for 2 to try to make an 8-point ball game. So, in theory, here, if they would have kicked the field goal, made it 16-13, the Steelers would have got the next 10 points. It would have been 26-13. So the Giants scored another touchdown. They would have gone for 1. So, if you just threw the ball away, the game would have been 26-20. Would the Giants have won if you completed a pass here? Probably not. All right, but you got to get 3 points here. You got to get something here. And as I showed, he knew Bud Dupree was there. He was looking over here, see if somebody. I'm not sure who the main receiver is. They're pretty well covered, as you can see. But you have to feel the pressure. So what's he wind up doing? He waits till the last second, throws the ball. Bud Dupree gets it. Gets his arm. Ball goes flying up in the air. And Cameron Haywood, well, there you go. See the ball? See Cameron Haywood looking at the ball? Ball comes right down to him. I think he's in the end zone. But I'm saying, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. You had 6. Actually, you got 7 Steelers over here. So what we got? We got Saquon, who's almost out of bounds. You got him, 2. You got 4 receivers, and you got, so everybody's pretty much covered. It's not the end of the game. It's not a do or die pass. It's second down. Throw the ball into the third row. Come back, live another play. You have to get some points here. Now let's watch Cameron Haywood make a nice little catch here. I think he's in the end zone. Yeah, catches it there in the end zone. See, we got 1, 2, 3. We only got 5 Steelers right here. That's all. Evan Ingram, Toilolu, Caden Smith. I'm not sure who that is. And you got Saquon's out over here, but all right, there you go. Touchback. I think touchback. Okay. Yeah.
See, every time I think of that play, sometimes he's just not aware of what's going on. He's looking here in the end zone, and you got Bud Dupree. He's a couple yards away. He's got to know he's there, and then, he stops running, and then just as he's getting ready to throw, that's when Bud hits the on ball. Cameron Haywood, the defensive lineman, picks the ball off in the end zone. You got to be aware of what's going. You need 3 points there. That was second down too. If it ain't there, just throw it away. I got this guy that's going to come rip my head off. Just get rid of the ball, or take off and run. Get him run out of bounds at the 5-yard, whatever. Or as I saw there early, if he gets out, Saquon was open in the flat. I don't think Saquon would have scored, but he could have hit him early. Maybe Saquon could have made a couple moves. Maybe he could have gotten in. Sometimes he holds on to the ball. He's not aware of what's going on. Sometimes he seems like he just hesitates, a little bit. Like if he was more aware of what, where the guys are at, look real fast and all that, he can, like the 2-point conversion we had against Tampa in 2020 to tie the game up to try to send in an overtime. It looked like, he got back. It looked like he kind of hesitated just for a split second. And then he threw it. And by the time he threw it, the defender was there and knocked the ball away. Incomplete pass. Giants lose. If he just, made the decision, right away and threw it, maybe he catches the ball. Maybe he ties it up. Maybe go in overtime. Maybe the Giants win. I know it's not an easy position. I couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? But for you to do it and get paid the big bucks and have a team want to spend all that money on you and everything, you have to be able to do it. Another one of the things his problem is that he gets injured. Every year he's been injured. The first year, 2019, that's how Eli Manning got to play the last game of his career at home against the Dolphins, because Daniel Jones was hurt. 2020, he goes out and he slides. He takes off and he slides and he rips up his hamstring against the Bengals. This year he came down and already had a concussion against the Cowboys, and he had the problem with his neck. So he only played in 11 games, so he missed 6 games this year. If you're injury prone, and if you're kind of questionable with your talent and all of that stuff, and you're injury prone, sometimes he can do it, Just sometimes he can't. Now, if everything, as I said, if everything is perfect out there, can he do well? Yeah, but I mean, he's not always going to have a perfect pocket. I mean, he's not going to be able to just stay in there and everybody's going to be able to run the routes and he's going to, that's not the way it goes in the NFL. I mean, there's too much parity in the NFL. I mean, especially the Giants are trying to rebuild. I mean, that's another strike. I guess not against them, but it is going against them because it's showing up in his record and all and everything. He's just getting, I don't want to say screwed over, but I mean, he got drafted by a bad team and we're having a hard time building things around him and just making it worse and worse for him. But at least he's going to have at least one more chance, all right, one more year to prove himself, all right? So it's not like he's never going to play for the Giants ever again. As he's got one more chance to prove himself. As I said in the beginning of this video, most quarterbacks, if they make it to year 4, things are going good. So most quarterbacks, if they're still kind of questionable or iffy, or if they don't look very good or they have all these turnovers he has and all that, right, most quarterbacks don't make it to year 4. So he's very, very fortunate that the Giants are sticking with him and he actually is making it to year 4. So he has one more chance to prove himself. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo!